Good morning. So, this is our chapter Biodiversity and Conservation, and this is the last part of our chapter. And we'll study how do we conserve biodiversity and about Ramsar sites. First of all, we'll study about in situ conservation. It is conservation and protection of whole ecosystem and its biodiversity at all levels in order to protect the threatened species. We save the entire forest to save tiger. However, it's not economically feasible to conserve all biological wealth and all the existing ecosystems. The number of the species required to be saved from extinction far exceeds the conservation resources. Two alternative methods are being used to save biodiversity: hotspots and protected area. So we'll study about hotspots, then protected areas, national parks and biological biosphere reserves. First of all, what are hotspots? They are areas of high endemism and high levels of species richness. Some 34 hotspots have been identified. Three of them occur in India: Western Ghats, Sri Lanka, and Indo-Burma and Himalayas. Hotspots cover less than 2% of total area but contain 44% of species. Then are protected areas. They are ecological, biogeographical areas where biological diversity along with natural and cultural resources is protected, maintained and managed through legal or other effective measures. So they are just like cold deserts, hot deserts, just like Thar, Ladakh, Spiti, and wetland Assam and northeastern states, saline swampy areas, Sundarbans, run of Kutch, mangroves, etc. These are protected areas. India has about 651 protected areas of national parks. Then are national parks. And they are areas maintained by government and reserved for betterment of wildlife. Cultivation, grazing, forestry, habitat manipulation are not allowed here. There are 100 national parks in India occupying nearly 1.1 of geographical area. Kaziranga, Manas. The first national park of India was Jim Corbett National Park. In 1936 it was established. So some early national parks of world are Yellowstone Park in USA and Royal Park near Sydney. It's in Australia. Then there are sanctuaries. They are tracts of land with or without lake where wild animals, fauna can take refuge without being hunted. So there are more biosphere reserves. They are multi-purpose protected areas which are meant for preserving genetic diversity in representative ecosystems of various natural biomass and unique biological communities by protecting wild populations, traditional lifestyle of tribals and domesticated plants, animals and genetic resources. In this slide, we'll study about ex situ conservation. Ex situ conservation is of selected and rare plants or animals in places outside their natural homes. Ex situ conservation includes off-site collection and seed banks. The two are also a source of genetic material for breeders and genetic engineers. Off-site collection, there are live collection of wild and domesticated species in botanical gardens, zoological parks, wildlife safari parks, and more than 1500 botanical gardens and arboretum gardens with trees having more than 80,000 species are there. Many of them have seed banks, tissue culture facilities and other ex situ technologies. The number of zoological parks is more than 800. They have about 3000 species of mammals, birds, reptiles and amphibians, etc. Just like gene banks are there, they are institutes that maintain stocks of viable seeds, seed banks, live growing plants, orchards, etc., tissue culture and frozen germ plasm with the whole range of genetic variability. So here in seed banks we can see cryopreservation, preservation at 196 degrees Celsius, that is liquid nitrogen, can maintain tissue culture, embryos, animal cells, tissue gametes indefinitely. The cryopreserved material is revived through special technique when required in order to prevent extinction, and endangered organisms are being cryopreserved so that they can be revived to help in conservation. Such like there are orchards, plants with very rare seeds are grown in orchards where all possible strains and varieties are maintained. For example, lychee, oil palm, rubber tree, etc. Likewise is the process tissue culture, which you have studied in the 10th class also. Tissue culture, it's carried out through callus formation, embroids, pollen grain culture and shoot tip culture for those plants which are either seedless or have very rare seeds, variable seed progeny, or where clone is to be maintained. So this is about in situ and ex situ conservation. There may be a question that write down the differences between in situ and ex situ conservation. So you can point out in the likewise given in the following slide. So we'll study about Ramsar sites. Wetlands are called Ramsar sites because the first international convention on their conservation was held in Ramsar in Iran in 1971. Wetlands or Ramsar sites are low-lying marshy areas which get filled up during rains due to runoff and overflow from other water bodies. They are often considered to be wastelands which are used as dumping areas and filled up to recover land for various construction activities. As a result, a large number of wetlands have disappeared. Presently, there are over 2 lakh wetlands in India. So wetlands are ecologically quite important. They are important source of recharging groundwater. Wetlands provide protection from floods by picking up water from runoff and spills from other sources. They are good source of siltation and purification of water. A number of aquatic biota are resident of wetlands. So this is about wetlands and Ramsar sites. First of all, we'll study about hotspots. Hotspots are the areas with high density of biodiversity or megadiversity, which are also the most threatened ones. Ecologically, hotspots are determined by 4 factors: number of species diversity, second is degree of exploitation, and third one is degree of endemism, and fourth one is degree of threat to habitat due to its degradation and fragmentation. So then next we'll study sacred groves. Sacred groves are forest patches around places of worship which are held in high esteem by tribal communities. They are the most undisturbed forest patches, just like islands of pristine forest, which are often surrounded by highly degraded landscapes. They are found in several parts of India, Karnataka, Maharashtra, Rajasthan, Aravalli Hills, Chhattisgarh, Sarguja, and Chanda and Bastar, and then Kerala, Meghalaya. Temples built by tribes are found surrounded by Deodar forest in Kumaon region. In Meghalaya, sacred groves are found in Janta and Khasi hills. Not a single branch is allowed to be cut from these forests. As a result, many endemic species which are rare or have become extinct elsewhere can be seen to be flourish here. Bishnois of Rajasthan protect the black bug religiously, and Rajasthan has several hundred sacred groves and sacred landscapes. Some water bodies are also held sacred in certain places, just like in Sikkim. Their aquatic fauna and flora are naturally preserved. What are the international efforts for conserving biodiversity? Earth Summit at Rio de Janeiro, 1992, Brazil, promoted Convention on Biological Diversity, the CBD, which was signed by 152 nations. Its recommendations came into effect on 29 December 1993. India became a party to this Convention on Biological Diversity in May 1994. The various commitments were adoption of ways and means to conserve biodiversity. Second is managing biodiversity for sustainable use, ensuring equitable sharing of benefits from biological diversity, including utilization of genetic resources. So these are some international efforts for conserving biodiversity. So India is also helping to conserve the biodiversity. India is center of origin and natural home of 167 cultivated species. It's homeland of some 320 wild relatives of crop plants. The latter include rice, sugarcane, millets, banana, mango, jackfruit, and cucurbits, and cardamom, black pepper, ginger, turmeric, just like spices and condiments, and brassica, oils and vegetables also. India is center for origin for some animal species like zebu, water buffalo, and mithium, and chicken, and camel, etc. Bamboo and tree cotton also originated in India. So India is also helping in the conservation of biodiversity. India is secondary home of some animals, for example, sheep, goat, horse, cattle, yak, donkeys, and plants like maize, potato, and tobacco, etc.